Let me kick this off. We're going to go through some of these PowerPoint slides. Our primary focus here is to talk about our Wi-Fi capabilities and what we've accomplished already and where we're going with this, and that might help your specific facility. A couple of more on this. Obviously, we do Wi-Fi. If you already have Wi-Fi, that's not an issue. I guess almost 2 years ago, when we started working with the Cincinnati Zoo on a project for them with large-scale Wi-Fi installation. They had nothing, and they were looking to enter that realm. Obviously, we do that. We build it up from the ground up and also install the software that you're going to see here today as well. The second thing is that this tool is a customer engagement tool. It's an IT product, but really your marketing and your operations and your advertising folks are the ones that are going to really benefit from this, not to mention the customer experience and the customer engagement tool piece of it. So the other thing that I will stress is that this tool generates revenue for your organization. The whole pretense behind it is to increase your customer engagement and also to generate funds that you can utilize for other marketing initiatives or other IT projects. So without further ado, let's jump into this. How we got involved in all of this with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi in the past has been a conversation that not a lot of large-scale public venues really enjoyed having because it's a lot of cost, it's a lot of infrastructure, and really the only reason that places would do it nowadays is because of the demand. People expect it. People want it, especially when they're in a place for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. They expect that they can get off of their data plan and utilize the network, and hopefully it meets their needs. A lot of times we find facilities that have put in Wi-Fi just did the bare minimums. They stuck up some access points and basically said, yeah, we have Wi-Fi. People couldn't, stream video. They couldn't post their pictures on Facebook or social media, and it was bare minimum at best. What we found over the last few years is there's a mix of those facilities that want to engage more with their customers while they're on site. However, there's still a cost involved. The great thing about Beyond Wi-Fi is, as I said, it will generate revenue. This slide pinpoints quite a few features that you'll see. Most people already know this. You've got a lot of people in certain demographic ages that are using Wi-Fi more and more. And also, since you have that many people engaged already in your facility, what a great tool to utilize to provide more additional information. Where's the restroom? Here's a map of the facility. You can do all that sending it directly to their smartphone instead of printing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of color maps and those types of things. So we'll get into that a little bit. As far as connecting it and getting demographic data, data is key nowadays. Everybody wants it. However, not a lot of people know what to do with it once they do get it. A lot of older facilities out there tend to have just marketing lists of emails or phone numbers, and that's how they communicate with people instead of gathering their own real information of people that are walking through their gates right now. So as far as gathering that, you can see on this slide, it does say, as far as the most important things in life, air, water, food, and Wi-Fi is one of them. Talk about a couple of projects we've actually put in place. This is just some of a few. As I mentioned before, we've done this already at St. Louis Zoo. We've done this at several large-scale tennis venues where you may not think about, large-scale public venues like that, but sporting arenas, stadiums, these are the type of things where people are engaged for a long period of time, and you have the ability to reach out to them live while they're there or reach out to them afterwards. So obviously we talked about the St. Louis Zoo and Cincinnati Zoo. The difference between the two is we just put the software in St. Louis. They already have work, whereas Cincinnati, we had to build it from the ground up and then deploy the software. We've also put this in play at the Western and Southern Open, which is a huge tennis tournament. 200,000 visitors go in and out of this place in just a matter of a little over a week. But then also venues like large-scale mega churches and things like that are becoming more and more popular with this type of software as it is interactive. So some of the challenges we have here, water and aquariums, foliage. Some of the zoos are actually botanical gardens as well, and those facilities require a little bit more tedious work to get through there. But all of these things are required. So you've got cabling, you've got indoor buildings, outdoor buildings. You have venues nowadays within certain facilities. People are having weddings, business meetings, so you want your conference room covered, and then some of the larger open air venues within a zoo. A little bit about the access points. We're very cognizant of the fact that a lot of places require certain aesthetics. Examples we're going to show here are St. Louis and Cincinnati. You don't want these types of access points completely visible at all times. If you can do a better job of hiding some of them or masking them, we have different ways that we do that. So certainly you can find access points if you're looking for them. Other times it's a bit harder to find. This particular building is, I believe, the second oldest zoo building in the United States. So we were not able to just go in there and drill holes through the walls and things like that. We had to be a little bit more creative about where we put the access points. And we actually hit it right behind the fire sign there. So even animal enclosures are a great way, because sometimes pathways do not give us the greatest benefit of Wi-Fi as far as directional signals, so we have to get a little bit more creative where we go. So we actually have ways to camouflage some of the access points with different types of wraps and things like that to make it a little bit more cohesive. And sometimes you have no idea that you're actually standing right next to an access point. This is a great example right here. We actually put in some fake boulders inside of the Cincinnati Zoo, where we hid access points inside of them. This is really important, just again, as far as trails, things like that. If you have foliage and in different terrain, we have to be able to shoot this Wi-Fi all through the facility. Okay, so as far as what we're trying to do with the software, if you already have a network in place or if we've built that out already, how do we want to engage the customer? What information are we trying to gather from them, and why, really? So all of the things that we have built this system on, we're trying to gather information about who's visiting you, how long are they there, how long are they at a specific attraction, understanding that so I can parlay that into additional things. One of the examples I gave down in St. Louis, they are doing more and more weddings there. They're doing more and more proms there. How to use these additional venues within their facility to generate more revenue. Having the ability to reach out to a demographic of 25 to 35-year-old women, for example, to send them information that we have a great venue for weddings here. Please stop by sometime and take a look or schedule a visit. Those types of things. To be able to just pull that down in a spreadsheet, send it out by email, or even text message them. You can do all of those types of things. How often are they in your facility? Do I know who my constant visitors are, even though they might be members? I might have people that visit my facility 10 times a year that don't know that they can just upgrade their existing ticket for a few dollars more. And then how do you turn your visitors to members? How do you turn your members into donors? That's a very key thing that we've been learning as far as that goes. Also, what path do they go through their facility? How do you try to route your traffic? Not only just for parking, but the customer experience. Where do you put your vendors to give them prime real estate? So again, this is based on the pretense of how to communicate people with while they're in your facility directly through something they're already carrying today, which is their smartphone. So how we do that is we take the information from when they log in to your facility. They walk into the facility, and since you're going to be providing them with free Wi-Fi, the only thing you're asking for them to do is provide an email address or something along those lines. As they provide that email address or log in through social media, we basically data mine their public profile information. We put it into a storage database. This allows you to collect that demographic information that's already present on those social media pages. You can also choose, if you prefer, to go one or the other. You can just go all social media and require them to just log in that way. You can mix and match it. You can give them a standard old style form that they can log into and gather it that way as well. Last thing I'll stress on this point is this is your data. We do not sell it. We don't market it to other firms. We do nothing with it except house it and collect it for you. So at that point, you can download it, put it in your own Excel spreadsheets, cross-reference it with any member list that you have, vice versa, and then send out additional emails or whatever you'd like in bulk. Once they have logged in, it's all about engagement. How do I get them to have a better experience, whether it's via social media. These people are taking pictures in your facility. Their phone is their camera, so they want to post those things. You can actually set this up so that when they log in or check in at a facility, they automatically like your Facebook page. You can also have contests or what have you as far as daily giveaways or what have you. This is all based around that fact that you are providing them with a great tool. Here's how we generate revenue. So you have an onboarding mechanism that is set up. These are examples we put together for the Seattle Aquarium a couple of weeks ago. We used this in our presentation in St. Louis. So every single person that walks in your facility gets what they call a splash page, and you're familiar with that term probably already. As you can see on the initial screen, this one is a sponsor that they already have. They have multiple options of how to log into the facility, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can put LinkedIn. You can use different things in here as well. And then you also have the standard form, which is email, phone number, etc. Once they choose which one they want to utilize, they'll get what they call a redirect screen. The importance for this is the sponsors you already have, they're spending money for the back page ads of your map or anybody that you already have engaged as an existing sponsor or vendor is going to want to be interested in this, mainly because the amount of people that see this is much greater than the little square they're buying on the back of your zoo map or aquarium map or whatever the case might be. So this does have a large dollar value to it. This is how you pay for your network. This is how you pay for the software. This is how you generate long-standing revenue for the organization. We have had facilities that have actually paid for their entire software package before we've installed it. So they've gone out ahead of time, their marketing department, their advertising teams, whoever it is that is responsible for that has gone out and floated the idea that we need a official Wi-Fi sponsor. We need an official sponsor for telecommunications, whatever that is. And they actually utilize them either on a yearly, quarterly basis, what have you, and that's where that goes. So your folks have now logged in. You give them a thank you screen. You give them different options as far as whatever it is you want to put in here. Zoo maps, where the restrooms are, today's schedule of events, here's where the restaurants are, here's today's menu, so on and so forth. Those are the things that separate this program as far as now giving them a tool that they can use while they're in their facility that you can reach out to them throughout the day. You can also add an additional piece here, obviously, that says, upgrade your current ticket to be a member. Here's additional information about ongoing memberships or future events, those types of things. And obviously, you give them an option to opt out. We have some templates that we utilize, but certainly you're entitled to use whatever you'd like, so that was what it is. One of the things I mentioned earlier, the ability to reach out to them real time. This software does have the ability for those that we've gathered phone numbers for to reach out to them live while they're in the facility with an SMS. This is important for security measures. This is important for the ability to provide updates for people that might be, there's some very busy times of year where you get log jams of people parking. You can redirect them, especially existing members, things like that. You can also send out a, basic coupon if a piece of your facility is not doing so great that day. I'll give you an example. The Cincinnati Zoo has a 4D theater. Certain times of the year, nobody goes to it. It's kind of hidden. It's not in a great facility that they don't have super advertising or signage for it. If tickets are low that day, they can literally send them a quick message and say, get $2 off your ticket if you're there in the next couple hours. So just an example there. These are just some additional samples that we have we put in place. This was the real screen at the St. Louis Zoo when we were there a few weeks ago. So they had the local Chevy dealers as their sponsor for that period of time. Again, you control how you want to do this. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, however. It's very simple to use. Again, a couple of more examples here of what we've done down at the U.S. Men's Clay Court Championship tennis facility down in Houston. This is a great example here. Spark Energy. They're actually one of the vendors I mentioned earlier that prepaid the entire software package. They were able to get this entire thing up and running with no out-of-pocket themselves, and they're going to benefit for the next several years of gathering data on all of their visitors and being able to utilize that. One of the last things I'll pinpoint on the PowerPoint slide before I move over to the web portal, we did institute micro surveys. This is just a very simple 4 or 5 question survey you can send out to people's devices. You can do it while they're in the facility. You can do it a day later, a month later, whatever. And you create just a good feedback section. How can we be better? Thanks for attending. How did you hear about us? What other events would you like to see from us? It's just a better way to engage your customer and gather additional data that you might not have received. So I think I've hit all of these highlights. As far as one of the things I'll talk about here a little bit more is tracking journeys and behavior a little bit when I go to the web portal. This does attract new business. As I mentioned, not only at your weddings, your proms, it's how you get your information out to people that are already your customers. The best way to generate revenue is to sell to the people that are already being a patron. And then branding and sponsorship we've talked about. This is fully cloud managed. Once you already have the network in place, we do a lot of things on the back end. And the web portal I'll show you is how you go about logging into it.